Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be talking with you again. So much has happened since we last
God, yeah,
spoke.
yeah. God, you have no idea. So much.
Tell me about it.
Unreal.
Well, first things first, let's go around the room, man. I just want to get and see how you've been holding up throughout 2021. So we'll start with you, Stuart.
I mean, yeah, I can't remember what I said last time. Basically, what I said last time just continued up until now. Just doing a lot of surviving, drinking some beers, writing some songs.
How about you, Ron?
Yeah, so I honestly can't remember last time we spoke what EP it was, but yeah, it's sort of just been releasing more music, working, chilling, all that kind of stuff. It's been a bit of an odd year, but it's sort of all our hard work seems to be sort of paying off.
We live in odd times, that's the thing. So Pete, how about you?
Definitely been a big year. Musically, obviously, we've put 4 EPs out. I've recently got divorced, so it's been a massive year of change. So there you go.
Oh, wow. I really don't...
I know. Tell me about it. Yeah.
Oh, you kind of almost expect to a certain degree the expectation, even when you're releasing music all the time and keep things in that sense, but lives outside.
That's it. Yeah. Life goes on, you know, but it also means that we can write an extra load of sad shit.
I thought it was sad before. You wait.
Oh man,
we've gone the other way. We're pretending
I'm just going with the tash now as well. I had a full beard, I think, before. You know, I thought I'd do the Tom Selleck, but with a shaved head.
Yeah,
so, good luck.
Crisis moustache, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're going to ape anybody, I think Tom Selleck's a good one to go for. So overall then, would you see, and we're talking about Dohny Jep here, that 2021's been a bit of a blur, considering it was February when we spoke, and now it's November.
Yeah, I mean, time is just going by a crazily fast rate. It feels like the last EP we put out went faster, weirdly, than the other ones. It's like the first two, I think maybe because we got used to the pattern of putting out this many songs. The first two, we were sort of like, wow, this is really, obviously it's still really exciting, but we got used to the flow of it. So, and I think a lot of people got used to the flow of us having songs out as well, which is good because, you know, our listeners are still there. We haven't annoyed too many people by putting too many songs out yet, which is good. We still have what, one left?
Yeah. The final one.
So this last one might be the one that pushes everyone over the edge.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys got anything to add there? How's it been for you? Just flying by?
Yeah, pretty much. Like Stu said, it's sort of just been a constant sort of release of music. So where I think normally a band would sort of have a gap between releases, and you're like, oh, like this, like, can't remember when the last one came out, and yeah, it's sort of just been quite constant, but I think it's been like a good constant.
Well, I'd want to, considering the stress that comes around any release, so you've got the pre-build, you've got the build-up, you have to release your singles, and you've got to do your press, and you get all the information out there, and then obviously you release your album or EP, whatever it might be, and then you're still doing all that stuff for the next couple of weeks, sometimes months afterwards. Tell me about how the hell that was working for you, because effectively you were doing all of that, here's our EP, and then the moment it was released, you were sometimes 3 months away from having to build to the next one. At what point did you think, okay, we got cut promoting that one and now move to this next one?
Well, it was like 3 weeks actually. We put a song out every 3 weeks, which is even weirder. So it was a case of we've sort of built up a group of people around us who, some of them didn't know us at the start anyway.
Yeah.
Who every time a song was coming out, we would like personally message those people. So we might send out like 100, 200 personal messages going, hey, thanks for your support for the last one. This is our new song, as you know, because you've been following the journey. Can you pre-save it? Can you like tell your friends about it? And a lot of people have been really cool with that and have done it regularly. And that's sort of what helped us with getting on a bunch of the editorial Spotify playlists, because we've been on All New Rock maybe about 6 or 7 times now. I can't remember. It was a few times. And we were on another one as well called Alternative Noise, which is a Spotify curated one. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have people willing to kind of pre-save our stuff. So we sort of did them in blocks of 4 songs regarding with the PR. So you were talking about press. So our PR, Jade, would send out the EP, but then also these are when these songs are coming out. So technically all 16 songs were singles, with one being the lead single, which each person would, listen to the whole EP or go, this is the lead single, and sometimes feature both. So it made it a little bit easier in that respect, because we were doing it in 4 blocks throughout the year, just individually messaging a lot of people and posting about individual tracks as they came out. Hopefully I've answered that question. I've been talking for a while now.
As for stuff like content, if you were asking about that as well, we generally, when we get together, we go, right, okay, we need to think about the next X amount of months. Let's try and plan that. So we sit down and plan the stuff together, and then we take a bunch of photos and go, okay, it'll be the main one we're going to use for this campaign, and just sort of work like that, really. So a lot of this year has been about working so many months in advance, whereas I guess in a normal situation where a band would release one EP in a year, they wouldn't have to worry about so much content, because obviously things would become a little bit stale if we kept the same photo all year round, when all this different, we've had all these different EPs with all this different artwork, and with that comes a different type of look and different type of promotion. So it has been admittedly hard to keep on top of.
Yeah,
definitely. But
stockpiled enough stuff that it was remembering which ones to put out at which point.
And I think it was a good challenge as well, because we're still here. We didn't give up or anything, because I'm sure the stress at some points we were like, fucking hell, this is hard to keep up with. But because we had so much stockpiled, as Stu said, we always managed to stay on top. So I think a lot of the time, personal issues and whatever, they can sometimes get in the way and stress you out and whatever. But as long as you can keep on top of it, then the ride keeps going, doesn't it? So
I think with the constant release of stuff as well has helped sort of enhance our brand a little bit more, and sort of know who we are a little bit further as well, especially when it comes down to artwork and sort of logos and things like that.
I just admire your organizational skills to be able to do this so consistently and correctly. And as you said, the different artwork, the different photo campaigns, and the fact that it felt like an evolution each time, rather than, okay, we actually had a full album that we've now just split up into 4 different EPs, and we're going to drip feed it this way.
We didn't not do that, but we definitely thought about which songs would go where. I think maybe when we spoke to you the first time, it would have been just as our first EP had come out or was coming out.
Yeah, it was,
And that one was deliberately lighter than a lot of the other ones, or even they got not necessarily progressively heavier, because the heaviest stuff is definitely on this newest EP, but we actively made the decision to kind of start off a little bit light, and then you could see the journey of how we got to the kind of heavier section at the end, but without really compromising what we sound like, because hopefully you can listen to one song off the first EP and one song off the 4th EP and still go, that's the same band. And a lot of those songs were sort of written in a similar time period, even if we had them fully produced or fully finished later on. So it really helped keeping that continuity, but it also did show the growth of how we were writing. And as I said, it was a conscious decision to kind of ease people in to what potentially could come, because we were starting this year, although we had already put an album out, even then we weren't really sure what we were going to sound like. So we wanted the year to start with like a good representation of where we were going, and then we can add heavy on top later on, rather than start heavy and then people go, oh, they're a heavy band. We want it to be like a catchy poppy band with riffs, and then we just evolved them as we went on.
It's been a fascinating journey from a personal perspective. I didn't really know who you guys were when we first spoke all the way back in February, and it's been a joyful experience going through the year. Almost exciting when the email pings and it's another Dohny Jep EP.
That's really kind of you to say.
You don't roll your eyes and go, oh, they've done another.
Not at all. But I want to go back through them. So it was Smile It Might Never Happen back in February. Since then, obviously, you didn't stop. We then got the follow-up with Child in the Water in May, and This Is Love in August. And now, of course, it's No More Love, November 26th via Favour the Brave Records. I have to ask, though, you must be looking forward to taking a little bit of a breather after this release has come out.
I mean,
it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, no, that's it. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, we're already knee deep in writing for the next EP or album, whatever it becomes next year. So,
but not only that, these 4 EPs are being stuck together to create an album. There's an album release show for it in January the 29th in the Black Heart in London.
There is, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great to have it all in one full thing that people can listen to from beginning to end. Particularly, I think as well, even if you followed along with the 4 EPs, because of the separation, and you listen to it, and then you move on to the next release, and you forget about Dohny Jep for a few weeks, if that's as much as you can do that. It's going to a chance to refresh things.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, there's going to be a little bit of a gap between this last EP and then when we put them all on an album by a couple of months. So, we're not going to jam it down people's throats straight away. But next year, obviously, we're going to be trying to tour it as much as possible. Because while we did gig this year, we didn't manage to tour as much like a lot of bands. I know a lot of bands are getting back into it now. So we're going to be promoting the album live a lot more next year, hopefully. But as Pete says, we've written, close to 30, 40 songs, or at least songs for the next stuff. And we've got one of them produced almost so far. We're in the kind of the final stages of getting a new song back for the next set. But I'm sure no one will be
exciting. It's great. It's great to still be so excited about our stuff. Even though we've had 16 tracks, which is obviously an insane amount of tracks for an unknown band, and then we're still getting more and more done, and we're still super excited every time we get another mix back. It's brilliant, that sort of feeling. So,
because of course you were talking about burning out the fans, but you start wondering, what about yourselves? But the fact that you still seem so enthused about what you're doing after such an incredible 2021, that's wonderful to hear.
I think if we can make it through the last year or two, then we could kind of do anything at this point. There's no excuses anymore, because we've made it through a series of dramas, both in the band and out.
And to be honest, we're not quite out of one of the biggest dramas yet. So hopefully that means we won't have too many more issues there throughout 2022. Did you notice then that momentum would slow down on an EP? So you release, say, Smile It Might Never Happen, and then momentum would slow down on that. And then the next one would come out and you'd feel it speed back up. Was that something you were paying attention to?
No, go on.
I was going to say we've definitely noticed it in stages.
Yep.
It's not been so drastic. I think it depends on how well received certain singles are.
Right.
Some of them we were really excited for, but then maybe it wasn't translated well to other people. So we've got a few close friends who were very honest about the music, which is what we want. And one of them was like, well, I'm not going to name names or songs, but he was like, well, that one I didn't like it as much. He's like, no, it wasn't bad, but he didn't like it as much as this one, for example.
I know who you're talking
about. You know who it is and what it is. So, I mean, if multiple people have that feeling, it obviously you can see it a little bit in some of the streams, or people won't go back and re-listen to it as many times maybe as they might have done another one that they thought was better. But fortunately then we only had to wait a couple more weeks before another one came out, and we can then go, okay, you didn't like that, but how about this one?
Yeah.
If we hit two in a row that people didn't like, then we might be in trouble. But,
start shitting ourselves.
But as far as I'm aware, no one's told me if they don't like all of the songs. I've heard a few people don't like it, but maybe it's not their favorite, but then they really like this other song, so they'll go and listen to that one instead, which will then keep our streams coming in.
The statistics and the aspects of the side of things, you mentioned streams being on playlist a few times. I know it can be an aspect for a band that they absolutely despise, having to keep the finger on the pulse of that. Seems like you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we all like the keeping up to date with the numbers and knowing who our fan base is, what kind of age group we've got to target and where, and all this sort of stuff. It's interesting, and then we would know where best to tour and who to reach out to and that sort of stuff. And
there we are thinking that bands just throw a dart at a dartboard of places and hope to God that the people come down. What have you learned then through that sort of study and what you've been looking at? What have you learned? Like, for example, what age group do you notice listens to your music the most?
So on like TikTok is a platform that we've started looking at, only just started. So we're really scratching the surface here, but it looks like, so I think it was 13 to 24-year-olds seem to be the most, that they responded the most to our stuff on there recently. But like I say, we've only just started on there, so it's unfair to say yet, I guess. As for other platforms, it can be it depends on the song, it depends on the post that goes up and so on. But I think it's generally between 20 to 45-year-olds, really. That sort of age group, I would say. Really, yeah.
According to the Spotify stats.
That's sort of
group, which kind of makes like that sort of age group are the ones who will pay for Spotify Premium and
right.
Like
my
parents' age, they do have Spotify, but they probably have Spotify Premium because I put out so many songs and they're very supportive. So they might be all, 10,000 of our streams. Who knows? My mum and dad. Cheers, mum.
But we've got quite a following in America, apparently. Yeah. Like looking at our Spotify numbers and so on, which is fantastic, really. It's a shame we can't just get on a plane and go and play there,
We've had a few people reach out from America who have heard us on the radio station out there and then found us on Spotify from there, which is really good. It shows PR works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the goal, right? The goal is to constantly have people talking about Dohny Jep. Is that the simplest way I could sum up 2021, that your goal was to make sure no matter what, people were talking about Dohny Jep?
I think that would be a fair surmise,
just jam it in people's faces until they remember us.
This part just kills me because it never felt like Overkill to me personally. Like, now I know I'm coming from a completely different angle as a press person and obviously getting emails regularly and stuff like that. So for me, it was easy to push you guys to decide when the current EP was out and I had to move on to the next thing. But my own personal journey still matters, and I love discovering new bands. And if we go back to Smile, It Might Never Happen, well, I can't quite remember what I gave up. I'm pretty sure I might give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 overall. And I said, hey, it's good, but I don't love it, right? And that's the truth of it. But following that, everything so far I've loved more than the last, leading to, spoilers, at the time of recording, tomorrow at 1 p.m, you will see the review of this new EP. And I might have used words like the best thing they've done to date. So I don't know, as it will be. So like I completely understand when you're sort of saying about the whole fact that it feels like overkill, but for people like me, and I hope the majority of people share that, where it's just a constant, okay, I really like this band, I love what they're doing, and the more music, the better. Keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I think because we love it so much, and I think we're our biggest fans, that we wouldn't put anything out that we personally didn't want to listen to. And while I have favorites and while I have ones that I don't think are as good as other songs, doesn't mean I don't think they're good. I think because we love it so much that I hope that comes through. I don't want to write a bad song, or none of us do we? So that's why we write so many songs, to kind of get the bad ones out of the way. But I'm hoping that.
But we really have got through a lot of shit, haven't we? Honestly, we've written, God, this year, we must have written close to 100 songs or something. Like, so many ideas. And we end up going, no, that's now that we've written this one, that one's awful. Let's get rid of that. And then when we started looking at the new stuff for next year, our producer said, look, just send me everything you've done. And he would sort of green light it or red light it, use basically a traffic light system for what he wants to work on. And there were a lot of red lights. But thankfully, a lot of the green light ones we absolutely love, and we're so excited to get working on them, because there's some bangers, absolute bangers in there, and that's in demo form as well. So because as we've gone through this year, and we record our own stuff, I wouldn't say our production's got better, but our production heads have got better. So because we work closely with Reese, we kind of know how he works, so we incorporate a lot of what he's done in the past into demos, which then inspires him to go in a certain direction as well. So I think that's really helped.
I think
we've also know what we want to sound like a little bit more now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Kind of like finding our sound. It's not going to be like night and day. You're not going to go, oh, I don't know who this band are. Hopefully it doesn't sound like us, but yeah, I think
I think it does. Yeah.
So that helps along with the writing process. It sort of streamlines it, but sometimes it makes it harder, because you don't hit that rhythm and you go, well, this song's rubbish because we haven't written it in 2 hours. It will take 2 weeks, but sometimes they come together quick and sometimes they don't.
I think what we've released as well is sort of kind of gives us an idea of what we want to sound like, and how that's sort of translated with people.
I think it's super important people to know as well, perhaps as well, if they're watching this second interview and they haven't really given you much time to note that what you've been saying all along, which is there is variety, a ton of variety throughout all the singles, all the EPs, and what will be the full album come January. But it is clearly still Dohny Jep. And I want to pick up on what you said a moment ago. Still, it is your enthusiasm does shine through, not just musically, but also in your online presence. And that is such an important thing.
Well, I'm glad it's working then.
Yeah, at least from my perspective. But I'm one of these annoying people. I love everything most of the time, and I'm also when I really enjoy a band's music, I'm not going to really say anything negative. So I don't know. I'm always the best judge. Maybe someone else can have it. I want to pick up on one track though specifically. Wouldn't normally do this, but it put the biggest smile on my face, and I think it's probably the best thing you've done to date. Now that might, I just want to pick your brains about who came up with it.
Right, go on.
It's from the new EP, the next EP, and it's Floor Like Lava.
I knew you'd say that.
And there is a part in that where someone says, hey lads, what about this?
Yeah.
And then you flare up into quite a little heavy, little groovy part.
Yeah.
I laughed my head off at work while listening to this and was like, what the hell is this? That's fantastic. Tell me about that.
So that was an idea I had when I was listening to like an EDM club song. It's quite a popular one. I can't remember the name of the song, but it starts off with the guy messing up a vocal and then him saying as though he's in the studio, oh, is it this? And then he sings the melody and then it becomes the song. And I was like, that's really cool. Yeah. I want to incorporate that somehow. And this was, when we were writing that song, this was around the same time that Wayne decided he didn't want to carry on in the band anymore for his own reasons. And he actually wrote the heavy riff after that. So I was like, well, you've written this amazing riff. How about you say before it, "Oi lads, what about this?" And then, which is Wayne saying that, and then we do this huge heavy breakdown. And then at the end, I'm just like, nah, shit. It's sort of an inside joke to how he's not in the band anymore, even though we wish he was. So it was sort of like us saying, no, it's rubbish, to kind of.
It was the best way for him to bow out, I think, you know, to have that part. And when we play that live, we have that vocal of his playing through the speaker as well. So it's like he's still there with us. It's not like he's dead. But you know, we do miss him dearly when we play shows.
It was like, you know, it was a way for us to kind of show our personality a little bit, and Wayne's as well, because Wayne's a very he's a hilarious guy. And you know, as soon as I said the idea to him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm into that." And then, you know, sent me the vocal track that day. Yeah, we kind of wanted to catch people out with it, like hopefully, like it made you laugh, so it worked.
Yeah, you really, really did. Put a big smile on my face. I love it even more knowing the story behind it as well. It's awesome, guys. It really is. So, of course, all bands are going to say their latest release is their best. I'm not going to ask you which EP is the best or anything like that. I'm going to make you pick one of the songs across all 4 EPs that you personally look at and go, you know what, man, that is my favorite. Not necessarily the best, your personal favorite of the entire series this year.
Rowan, you go first.
Really
I know what he's going to say. It's so obvious.
So
I'm going to say Pressure, actually. So, they think that I'm going to say Get Fucked because I always want to play it and practice it and do it in a show. But it is a really tough question because there's so many different, like I have so many different favorites, but for different reasons. But I kind of want to say Pressure, which is the track that is still yet to come out. Just because there's something about it that really resonates with me. And I think it's like quite different to the rest of the songs. And it's like quite epic.
It is.
Yeah, that would probably be my one.
Awesome.
Without giving too much away, that whole outro section, which I'm sure you've heard because you've got it, Rowan wrote, so that'll be why he chose it.
I was kind of expecting you all to do that, to pick the track that you featured the most writing on or something. There you guys.
Who's going next?
Well, I'll go next. My favourite one is I'm Bored. I'm not entirely sure why. I like the outro riff. That one was actually originally the intro to part of Floor Like Lava.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
chopped them up and moved them around.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure why I like that one. It's just one of those songs.
I
was like, this is awesome, and that was actually the one I was most excited for it to come out. So it's all been downhill from there for me.
I'd say for me, probably Shattered, just because it's a very, very personal song for me. And I love songs that are truly personal, you know, when you write lyrics and stuff, comes from the heart. So that one very much is my favourite.
What's your favourite, Carl?
Oh, right now, I've already said it. Right now, it's currently Floor Like Lava. That is on repeat. I don't do playlists and stuff like that. I literally just tend to listen to in the car, driving the same things over and over again as I get them, and that keeps getting repeated. My wife,
I do. You do like your heavy music, don't you? So that's
yeah. But I grew up in. You know, I grew up in a diet of new metal, pop punk, and pop rock, stuff like that. You know, I was at Slam Dunk in September, so like a wide variety. I like to think I've got a pretty open mind when it comes to our world. Otherwise, I wouldn't be reviewing your stuff, guys. I'll be honest.
No, absolutely no.
You would, but you get a really bad review.
I wouldn't just suck that. Like, if I generally hated your style of music, but still wrote it anyway, was like, nah, it's just terrible. You know, what would be the point?
We've had a couple of them.
Oh, well, as long as they're fun reading, I hope they're fun reading at least.
It was quite a fun.
Yeah, it was a very weird one.
Hi, I write for a black metal zine, and I'm going to review the alternative rock band Dohny Jep.
It was pretty much that sort of situation, though.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself, people. Check out Dohny Jep. And if you haven't got the time and you went to 2022, we've already talked a little about it, the album in full and the full 16 tracks, should I say, and of course, the album release show. You mentioned it, January 29th, Camden, London, the Black Heart, one of my local venues. What's the plan for this? Because part of me is like, you're going to play the album in full, right? 16 tracks back to back.
I would like to, but I'm not sure we'd have the time. That would be great.
I mean,
look, we will have to talk about that because that would be great. And as long as I've got enough whiskey to get me through the show, then I'll play it twice through.
I think we could definitely pull it off in regards to time, but it's whether people want to sit there and listen to us play.
They'll just have to, won't they?
Yeah.
Lock the doors so that they can't get out.
They bought the tickets. They know what they're getting in for. That's the deal.
Absolutely, yeah.
We can do a countdown after every song. Like, we got 15 songs left. You know how long they've got.
Yeah, I hope to see you there, guys. It's going to be a blast. A nice sort of way to banish some January blues, I think, as well, come the end of the year. Beginning of the year, should I say.
Yeah, for sure.
So, guys, Christmas period then. Although you already said you're going to be doing some writing and stuff like that, presumably you are going to take some time off and chill out over the Christmas period, kind of build to gearing up for the show.
I don't think we will really, because we're. I mean, two of us live together, so we're always switched on. We just don't stop. We're always doing something. If we're not writing,
talking about it, aren't we? Like we have meetings in the kitchen about things.
Yeah. But like, if we're not writing together,
he could be if he come and lives with us.
Yeah. If we're not writing together, we're writing our own demos, and then we take them to each other, and that can be an even more sort of interesting twist on how the songs end up. Yeah. Because if I when I write, a lot of the time it tends to be like a sort of an 80s pop sort of sound, and then when I take it to Stu, it goes like much more refined and the more Jep sound, I guess, because I'm not very good at writing riffs, whereas that's sort of Stu's forte. And then once Rowan trickles all his drum magic over the top of it, that's like the sort of icing on the cake. So it's really interesting to see when we all write individually.
The magic of Dohny Jep.
I was wondering when you were going to trip over that.
I made it for the first interview without doing that. I did it here. You know what? I'm on night shifts. I've been asleep all day.
Have you been drinking?
So, guys, in a few words each, sum up 2021 for Dohny Jep.
How many words do you want?
A handful, however many it takes for you to sum up this year.
Really, 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 really good.
I'm going to say, it's really hard. I'm going to say good, fantastic, and proud, because I'm quite proud of what we've done. I'm very proud of what we've done so far and achieved.
That's quite a few words.
I want to really, 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 really proud.
Yeah. I would probably say the best headache. That's how I would put it.
I'm glad to hear this, guys. I'm glad you're so proud of what you've done. I feel as though you totally should be. Obviously, we're going to start looking towards the future once we get the EP out of the way, and then towards January and so on. Long-term plans, obviously heavy writing and stuff like that. What can you actually talk about? I know you're going to want to be as gigging as much as you can through 2022. And I know that's going to be heavily based upon what the state of the country / world is. But is there anything you kind of can point at and say, yep, we're definitely going to be doing that?
That's so hard to pinpoint now, really. I mean, we've got plans, but we can't really say yes, we're doing this, or yes, we're doing it. I mean, we can say yes, we're going to be releasing more music, but that a band being a band would say that anyway, so it's not really anything new. But yeah, we want to tour loads, but we can't say we are, because we haven't really got to that stage yet, because we're so focused on making this album release show incredible. You know, we're gonna have flames, we're gonna have pyrotechnics.
We're not.
Have you ever been in a Black Heart? You're incredible.
There's not going to be a Black Heart left with me.
Exactly.
Oh,
I think it's
go out in a way. Amazing.
I didn't say it'd be real fire. It might be like, you know, hologram fire. That would be cool. We need to talk.
What's that effect they do with it looks like fire, but it's like tissue paper, that thing. Yeah, that's what you need.
I mean, yeah, it's an option. If it's not expensive, it's an option.
When we end the call, we're each going to go on Amazon and try and find.
I'm actually on there right now. So.
Remember, that's what crowdfunding's for, guys.
Yeah.
Crowdfund this stuff. Gents, we'll call it the time there. Thank you again for taking the time to do this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for having us. It's nice to talk to you again.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?